In the highlands and lowland forests of Southeast Asia, more than 7,000 years ago, the story of the banana began. The wild ancestors of the fruit we know today grew across the islands of what is now Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, and the Philippines. These early bananas bore little resemblance to the soft, sweet fruit found in markets across the world. They were small, firm, and packed with hard black seeds, more obstacle than meal. Yet the people of these regions saw promise in them, and over countless generations they began to cultivate the plants that would change the diets of nations. Through patient selection, farmers favored the rare plants that produced sweeter, seedless fruit. The banana we eat now is the descendant of those choices, a fruit that cannot reproduce on its own and depends entirely on human hands to survive. Each new plant is grown not from seed but from a piece of the parent, a living clone passed forward through time. This is why the bananas in a supermarket halfway around the planet can taste identical to one another, sharing the same genetic blueprint. The banana plant itself is not a tree, though it towers like one. It is the largest flowering herb on Earth, its trunk formed from tightly wrapped leaves rather than wood. Within a single year, a young plant can rise to the height of a house. From its center emerges a great purple flower, and from that flower grows the fruit, arranged in clusters that point upward toward the sun. A single stem can carry more than 100 bananas, grouped into the hands and fingers familiar to anyone who has ever bought them. Growing bananas demands warmth, water, and steady care. The plants thrive in the humid tropics, in a belt that wraps around the equator across Latin America, Africa, and Asia. They are vulnerable to wind, to drought, and above all to disease. Because every plant of a given variety is genetically the same, a sickness that strikes one can sweep through entire plantations and across whole continents. Harvesting is done by hand, and almost always while the fruit is still green. Workers cut the heavy stems and carry them carefully, for a single bruise can ruin a banana before it ever reaches a table. The fruit is then washed, sorted, boxed, and loaded into refrigerated ships that slow its ripening during the long voyage across the oceans. Only near the end of its journey, in special ripening rooms, is the banana coaxed into its golden color and ready to be sold. The role of the banana in human history reaches far beyond the breakfast plate. For hundreds of millions of people, it is not a snack but a staple, a primary source of food eaten cooked, fried, or boiled. In much of Africa, the plantain and the cooking banana provide more calories than almost any other crop. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the banana became one of the first tropical fruits to be traded on a massive global scale. Vast plantations rose across Central America, and powerful companies built railroads, ports, and entire towns to move the fruit northward. Their influence grew so great that they shaped the politics and economies of whole nations, giving rise to the phrase that still echoes today, the Banana Republic. Behind the cheerful image of the fruit lay a history of hard labor, deep inequality, and conflict. Today, the banana remains one of the most traded and most eaten fruits on the planet. More than 100 billion are consumed each year, grown in over 100 countries and carried to nearly every corner of the world. For millions of farmers, it is a livelihood. For billions of people, it is nourishment, affordable and ever-present. Yet the very sameness that makes the banana so reliable is also its greatest weakness. A devastating fungus now spreads through plantations across continents, threatening the most common variety just as an earlier disease once wiped out the banana that came before it. Scientists race to breed new types to protect a fruit that cannot defend itself. The humble banana, carried from ancient forests to the modern world, reminds us how deeply our food and our history are intertwined, and how fragile even the most familiar things can be.